And then again, the Democrats have a lame duck Congress right now. You would think they'd be jamming through every possible bill that they could possibly get done, and they're not.
Yeah. Yeah. You'd think they would cancel their vacations and like take advantage of the limited time they have, and like they're not. Yeah, you're right. It's very frustrating to watch how they use the power that we give them. That's for sure. But I think that there's a hangover effect. Like there's a lag in between actually making legislation and having it go into effect. And so what I've noticed is like you're going to see Republicans in the next 2 years for this upcoming election. They're going to see projects in their districts that are going to be breaking ground because of the infrastructure bill and the Inflation Reduction Act. There's a lot that was done without a single Republican vote that was done in the Inflation Reduction Act. So when you see electric car chargers being put in all over the country, like stuff like that, that was the Inflation Reduction Act. Republicans had nothing to do with it. But they're going to see this shovel ready projects go into their district in the next 2 years, and they're going to take credit for it. And because the local media, largely because the well-funded corporate media owns local media, like because they don't look at the details of these laws when that happens in real time, they don't get called out on it. So what happens is the Republicans, they take over Congress and then they say, look at all this stuff that's happening right now. You can see it in your districts. And the people that actually did it don't get the credit. So that's also what's being set up to happen in the next 2 years. You also see like, they call it like Bidenflation. It's like we just had a global pandemic, which by the way was managed by the Trump administration for 2 years. Like, let's not say that this is all the Democrats' fault. But policy takes a minute to kick in. So I think we are being failed. And I don't really blame the American people for voting the way they do, because the journalists are not taking the time to be like, okay, this is the thing we're happy about. How did that come into law? And they're not saying exactly like who did it, when it happened. And so, yeah, when I look at 2024 and like actual governing, I actually think the Republicans are going to take credit for things that they didn't do. And
Oh,
that
wow.
is going to be kind of annoying to watch because you're going
Wow.
to see projects breaking ground. It's going to happen.
That's a great, that is a great, that's a great point, because I'm seeing, I, I've been waiting as an electric vehicle owner. I've been like, where are all the new charging stations that were supposed to come out of Build Back Better that I was told in January? I've seen one,
They
like
weren't
I
in
haven't,
there.
yeah.
Yeah, it was in the Inflation Reduction Act. They only got it done a couple months ago.
Ah,
Yeah.
okay. That's
Yeah.
good to know. And again, nobody's telling me that in the mainstream media. You're
Yeah,
telling me
so it
that.
feels like a failure, right? Like the Democrats said they're going to do this thing and they got it done at the end of their Congress, but we're not going to feel that until later. And if no one tells
Mm.
us this, then we don't know that that actually became a thing, and therefore people don't vote based on what was actually done. And you let people like Kevin McCarthy take over the House of Representatives in your ignorance. So, yeah, it's
Well, why don't you think the Democrats are just trying to pass every law possible now so that they can say, "Hey, remember in 2 years when for the president, look what we did?" Or do you think they're aware of the fact that the Republicans will take credit for it, so they don't want people to go, this stuff will happen that was passed by the Democrats, but the Republicans will be in power and take credit for it. I mean, even though it's like I guess we're technically split, right? Like the Republicans have the House now, but the Democrats have the Senate. So,
well, so if you look at the calendar, it's actually kind of unfair to say that the Democrats can just do whatever they want, because when it comes in the Senate time is a absurdly slow situation. And the Republicans, because we only have a 50 Senate right now, like they do have the ability to slow stuff down. So right now they're working on the bill that's going to essentially say like if you got gay married in any state, it's valid in every state. And there are 12 Republicans that are voting with the Democrats. Like this is a done deal in reality, but the people that don't want, I'm not sure if the opposition to that is to the bill itself or if they're just trying to gobble up the entire Senate calendar. But either way, the Republicans have enough power in Congress to really slow things down. So it's not the situation where they can just go and pass a bunch of stuff because the Senate calendar operates in the ridiculous way that it does. And so what the Democrats are doing is they're doing the stuff that is really important, like the Supreme Court. They're just they didn't do it with abortion. Maybe they've learned their lesson. And so when it comes to gay marriage, they're taking care of that right now. And there's only 4 weeks left in the lame duck. Now, I'm frustrated with the fact that they're leaving on December 16th. Like, I feel like we have so many problems in this country that if the problem is time, like, take the time away from your families and donate it to the country and like get stuff done over the holidays, because that's an option. And they're not choosing to do that. So of course it could always be better. But yeah, they only have 4 weeks, and they would have to do another reconciliation bill, which is a whole long process. It's just the calendar, even though in normal people time it sounds like a month is a lot, in Senate time it's nothing. So they're actually kind of limited in what they can do. Also, they didn't finish their basic job yet. They were supposed to fund the entire government. There's 12 sections of government by September 30th. They didn't do that, so they still have all 12 left to do by December 16th. And I was reading this morning, and like, they're not close. So they have that to do. They also have to fund our wars, which, as we know, is always a top priority.
Right.
So they have all of their work that they were supposed to do over the entire year. They've left it all for the next month. So yeah, it's just a very busy calendar that I don't know if they could put any more on it, even if they wanted to. What they are going to do is they're going to attach stuff to that government funding and to the NDAA. So that's how they're going to get their last minute stuff done, is they're going to dingleberry it into law by basically like gluing it onto stuff that needs to get done. And then it'll all just sail through together. Those bills will be thousands and thousands of pages long.
Wow. Yeah, when I was on your show like a month and a half ago or something, we were talking about they still haven't funded the government.
Yeah. Yeah. And like, they always wait right up until that deadline. So the deadline's December 16th. Because the Democrats have full control, I don't expect a government shutdown situation, but they might kick it closer to Christmas. Like, I do think it could get, pushed forward and take a little bit longer. But yeah, they have a ton of work to do and very little time to get it done. And if they don't get that done, then it gets kicked into the next Congress, which means that the Republicans in the House would have the ability to mess with government funding. So that's another reason why I think that no matter what they have to do, they'll get it done, because they're going to be freed from having to compromise for at least one last government funding cycle if they can get it done before January.
So now, like, now that it's, like you say, it's a 50-50 Senate and a Republican Congress, how do you see these next 2 years playing out in terms of the type of bills that are going to be trying to be passed?
Well, so I just released an episode today where I read the entire Republican policy proposal. One of the things that I was very happy to see is the last time the Republicans had power, they tried really hard to repeal the Affordable Care Act. And they said they were going to replace it. I read the replace bill. They were not going to do that. They were essentially going to free the insurance companies to take your premiums and give you very little back in return. They seem to have dropped that effort based on what I read in their policy proposals. There's going to be a lot of focus on the border. They're going to say that the fentanyl crisis is being caused by immigrants, which the facts did not back that up, but it's all over their documents. So expect a lot of border nonsense. Where I have some hope is their investigations. They promised they're going to look into the origins of COVID and into, a lot of people won't be happy to see the Hunter Biden stuff, but in Ukraine, the Biden family has been, since the coup in 2014, there was a replacement of the Ukrainian government that happened, and Joe Biden in particular, as vice president, was a key figure in that. And then after that, his son got some business dealings with Ukrainian gas companies with having no experience in that industry whatsoever. So it was just, and I think that's only scratching the beginning of what was going on with the Bidens in the last 2 years of the Obama administration in Ukraine. I'm very excited to get some answers about what went on there.
Yeah, I'd like to see Hunter Biden get investigated. I like the whole Biden family get investigated.
Yeah,
I really think
I feel bad for Hunter just because he didn't choose to be a part of that family. He was definitely, like, his brother died. Like, he's been through so much. His mother, like, he's been through so much. And I just feel bad for the kids of the people who choose the power getting sucked into this type of stuff. But then again, he took the job and was, banking off the family name. So I don't know. I would like the investigation to be into Joe Biden. I feel like that is more appropriate than his son. Um,
Hey, everybody, thanks for watching. We are still in our like 9th month of demonetization from YouTube. So support what we're doing at patreon.com/Graham Elwood or rockfin.com/Graham Elwood, which is a blockchain cryptocurrency platform. It's free to sign up, and there's a premium level at $10 a month. And for that, you get everybody on the platform's premium content. Myself, Lee Camp, Ron Placone, Jimmy Dore, Whitney Webb, Kim Iverson, Abby Martin, and many, many others. You can also support what we're doing at Venmo at Graham-Elwood and go to GrahamElwood.com. We have a PayPal button and a PO box. I also have crypto wallets, which are all in the show notes. Thanks for supporting what we do.